I'm taking pups on a walk. I know it's been a while since I've seen the puppies. Well, I think it's been a while, but here they are. They're doing pretty good. Atomic's a booty hole, and Goose is sweet but stupid. And they're both adjusting well to the baby. So things are going well right now. Before I kind of get going into this, I just wanted to tell you guys I'll be doing another live stream tomorrow. Tomorrow afternoon, I will be live streaming the next segment of Sobrante, so be sure to tune into that because that is going to be a lot of fun. Actually, this is a good time to check to see. The big rule is for dudes, if the lady says that she likes something that you're doing, you do it. So I actually haven't checked to see if I shaved this even last night, but oh well. All right, so Sobrante tomorrow, and then next Tuesday. Good morning, Goober morning. How you doing? Let's see. Before I move on. There we go. Okay, sorry. Had to make a quick adjustment. All right, so tomorrow is Sobrante, and then next Tuesday, all right? Make a note of it. Next Tuesday, as I readjust the puppies. There we go. Next Tuesday, we are going to be doing a 1 year of gaming live stream. All right, and it's probably not going to be anything big. It's just going to probably be me talking with you guys about what's happened in the past year, because like one year of faithfully every week, with the exception of like Christmas break, uploading a gaming video. Okay, I'll get to the Little Mermaid talk, Jeb. Gosh. Anyways. But anyways, that's what's going to be next week. All right, let's talk the Little Mermaid, okay? Since somebody is getting a little impatient. All right. Here's the deal. I have not seen it, and I don't think I'm going to see it. And it has nothing to do with the casting choice. 1 second. Okay. It has nothing to do with the choice of casting a Black Mermaid. It has 0% to do with that whatsoever. The reason that I don't want to see the Little Mermaid remake is because I hate live action remakes. They usually don't turn out very well. They're usually just trying to capitalize off of nostalgia. And so they end up, typically, for at least most of the Disney ones, not performing super great. So I don't have any interest in seeing it. And I wanted to point out right away, I'm not the only one that typically feels that way. But there are some things that we can note by those who've actually seen it. By the way, also, if you have seen it, please let me know in the comments what you guys think, because my dog's whip me around from side to side. There we go. Let me know what you thought of the movie and some things that happen. It's just, I've noticed that especially with modern Disney films and most, not even just the remakes, most Disney films now, they're more concerned with the agenda than with the storytelling. And Jeb, who piped in the chats just a minute ago, me and him talk all the time about how it's less about the storytelling now and more about the message. And there are some times that can be that can be useful. For example, in Bluey, I have recently, now that I've got a baby in the house, we're looking for TV shows that we want to introduce him to. And Bluey is spectacular. And the creator was using the show as a means to teach parents how to play with their kids and how to interact with their kids. And it's awesome because of that. But that's all of the agenda is. It's not a social or political. The songs sound like bad karaoke and it looks bad. Yeah, I know it looks bad. I've seen some of the clips. I've not listened to any of the songs or whatnot. The main thing I want to talk about when it comes to The Little Mermaid, though, is I want to refute a lie that's already spreading around. And every time that a Disney remake flops, or every time, and it's been all of the live action remakes, that makes me sad. But and again, not surprising. The lie that I keep hearing over and over, hang on as I adjust what the pups are doing, is that it's these evil, nasty, racist Republicans that are making it flop. Because how could these just terrible people just not want to see a black person actually be a mermaid? That's so evil. That's so corrupt. That's so terrible. And they're the reason why it flopped. They're the only reason it flopped. So I don't have it here yet because it's on my Twitter page, but I'll bring it over once I finish this and put it in the description. If you look at the numbers, it's actually not the racist Republicans that caused it to flop. As a matter of fact, some people have actually been saying in the reviews that, you know, it doesn't meet up to the original, but it's not as bad as people thought it was going to be. The problem is, whenever the word racism comes up, at least in the United States, whenever the word racism comes up, they automatically think old white Republican men, or even young white Republican men like myself. What they don't realize, because probably they don't know, is the reason that movies like The Little Mermaid flopped is because they flopped overseas. Now, if y'all know anything about the way that Marvel movies are marketed and the reason that they're made the way that they made is because they sell really, really well in China. And they sell really well in other countries overseas. And so when you're looking at like the Marvel movies and you're like, I wish that this really packed a better punch than what it's packing right now. Well, part of that reason is because they're targeting a larger audience. I mean, let's be honest, the American audience is very faithful and very excitable, but we're not the largest market. The largest markets are in India and China. And so Disney, over the past couple of years, has been refocusing their efforts to reach the Chinese and the Indian markets. With that in mind, the overwhelming majority of the money that The Little Mermaid made came from the United States. And it flopped abysmally overseas, which is usually really backwards of what a Disney movie does. Disney movies usually perform okay in the States, and then they do really well overseas, especially with, like, you know, the Marvel stuff. The Marvel movies, like, were killer in China. Little Mermaid barely pulled anything in China. I think it was like, what was it, 100-something million in the United States. And then in China, I don't think it passed 60 million. I don't remember off the top of my head. It's in the article that you can check below, or at least when I put it in. Oh, and Jeb, I've restarted the 1 out of 1 Twitter page. It's out of 1. So that's where the article is if you're looking for it. But the main thing that I noticed looking at that is when we think racism, we think Republican men. It's usually not the case. We have no problems, at least the most of us. I'll be generous. Most white Republican men are not racist, but I think that most people in the United States are not the way that we would think of racism racist. But overseas, in China, different story. If you haven't seen the side-by-side comparisons of the promotional posters for The Little Mermaid in the United States and in China, what's funny about it is China did a blue wash of everything so that it's difficult to tell that the actress is black. Not only that, but then you hear the stories about NBA players who went to China and did the N-word start coming from those racist white Republicans? Now they came from the Chinese people. China's a lot more racist than we are. A lot of the Asian nations are a lot more racist than the United States is. And now you can see that reflected in the numbers. So the people that would have sold out a theater for a Marvel movie or your average Disney movie, all of a sudden they don't want to watch a Disney movie and they just disappear. See, that's the thing that I think most people don't realize is like, people don't realize that there's a bubble outside of America. And that goes for Republicans as well. But in this instance, when we're talking about racism in China and Japan and the Koreas, like it's real. I don't know much about South Korea, but I've heard stories from North Korea as well and read articles about all three of those. They're very racist against each other, against black people, some of them against white people, but white people have money, so they make exceptions. But all you got to do is just follow the money. Follow the money. Watch where the money goes. The Little Mermaid made double in the States what it made overseas, which is so backwards for everything that they've ever done. And so I think that's really the way that we need to look at it, is like, a lot of the big entertainment companies are trying to pander, and then they blame Republicans for it. But Republicans put these companies where they are. Let's go, guys. Come, let's go. All right, let's go. Come on. And so whenever you hear someone talk about The Little Mermaid and they talk about how it's just the racist Republicans, I dare you show them this article. Or ask them to look up the stories of NBA players who went over to China and Japan. Because you're going to get a very different picture, and you're going to realize that the, quote, racism that we most often see in the United States, if it is racism, it's really tame in contrast to real racism. And that should be it should be an encouraging thing for the United States, because that means that we're not as messed up and perverted as we thought. It's probably not going to be what's going to happen, though. Right now, it's very easy to get divided. And the main thing that I do when I do either political or cultural stuff is I'm trying to provide a catalog of evidence, so that if you hear something, you're like, I don't know if that's quite right, you can go back and you can look and say, oh, yeah, that's what that source was. So that's what the yearly major events playlist is going to be like as they come out. The first one, I've already found the first one useful. And it's funny how MSNBC is already covering up for Democrats who say that Cassidy Hutchins. Anyways, that's another story for another day. This is mainly about Disney and The Little Mermaid. Republicans like me don't want to see it because we know it's going to be garbage. We know we're not going to enjoy it. We know it's just going to be capitalizing on nostalgia, and it's just going to be meant to push a bunch of woke ideology. That's most of us. There are those who are going to complain about it being a black actress. Don't think that's going to be most. You're going to find, though, that as the numbers come out, and as we hear more from China and Japan and other places with this movie, that it's going to be more racially motivated than you realize. So take heart that Republicans don't hate black people as much as you think. We just hate Disney. All right, I'm going to go ahead and log off. Like, I didn't want this to be a super long video. And like I said, I haven't seen it. Really not going to see it. But I wanted you guys to be encouraged that there is evidence that if you're a white Republican man, you're not the problem. There's proof of that. And yeah, that's all I got. Okay. I'm going to peace out now, and I'll put the link in the description so that you guys can read it for yourself. You can use it as a reference to say, actually, no, it's not the white Republicans that caused it to flop. Okay. I see y'all later. Bye.